For this tutorial, all I'm going to be using is some white face paint. You could find this at a Rite Aid. I got mine for like $3. It's just clown white face paint. So I'm going to dab my beauty blender into the white face paint and start dabbing it all over my face, making a nice even layer. Then taking a brush, I'm going to split up my face so that I know which parts to fill in. I suggest doing 2 layers so that you get the most opaque quality of the white paint. I just went back in with the brush and filled in any spaces that I hadn't covered well. So then the second thing that you need for this tutorial is just gel liner and a very thin brush. So I'm first going to start off by doing my nose. I'm just making a raindrop type shape on my nose and then filling that in with the gel liner. You can just see like the shape that I'm making. It's easier to see than explain. Then I'm going to be trying out the hollows of my cheek. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw what would be a contour line and then drag that down. Then I'm going to draw another line under it, and then as you can see, I dragged it out 2 ways. The front represents that opening of your mouth, and then the back is just your jawline. Then I just filled out the outer end of this facial structure. Then I'm going to start deepening up the inner half of my mouth. So I just added some gel liner to the inner part of my lip. Next, we're going to begin the teeth, which is way easier than it looks. So first, I just dragged out a line of where my teeth would begin. And then with freehand, I just drew lines up. And this was going to be the teeth on the bottom and top row. I'm just leaving even spaces in between so that the teeth are kind of even. But all you do is just basically draw lines up and down. And you go all the way to the end of where the hollows are. Next, to make the root of the teeth, I'm just going to take each line that I made and draw 2 lines diagonally on each side. This will just connect the teeth together. So it's basically like a triangular shape of the root. It's better to see it than me explain it because it's kind of hard to explain. It's like drawing a Y on top of each line, and this will just connect the teeth together and make it look like it came from the root. So as you can see, the top of the teeth are pointy because of the Y shape that's connecting all the teeth together. The next thing I'm going to do is add some dimensions. So I'm just going to take the bottom of the teeth and draw little triangles just so it looks like they're connected. So you can see how the bottom of the teeth have shading in them. And I did this in a triangular shape so that they look more filled in. To make it look more realistic, I just sketched on top of the teeth a little bit and then blended that out with my fingers, and this just gives a nice shadow effect to the teeth. I went in and darkened up the corners and roots of my teeth as well to make it show. So then the next part would just be filling in this outer corner, which is the opening of your mouth. And then I blended this in also with some of the teeth so that you could get a shadow effect, and this makes it look more 3D. Next, for the eye, this is probably the easiest part. You're just going to draw a circle around your eye. I included my eyebrows because they're very thick and dark, so they basically define like how much of my eye I would take up. And then basically what I did was fill that in with the gel liner. You could definitely use a thicker brush, it would go by way faster. I just wanted it to be more precise. And also, you should also set this with a black eyeshadow because mine looked very creamy and I would prefer it to be more matte looking. And I would suggest just using a shadow on top to set this gel liner. Then to add more dimension, all I did was draw some lines and circles on top and then blend that out so that it had like a 3D effect as well. And that's it for this half skull part. It's super easy as long as you could follow along, and it doesn't take that long either. It's definitely easier than I thought it would be. So moving on to the next part, which is the wound. I didn't want to leave one side of my face empty, so I decided to add a cut. So basically what I'm going to do is use some lash glue. You can use liquid latex, but lash glue works the same. So I just applied it on my face, and then I took some tissue paper or toilet paper and I stuck it on top of the lash glue, and then I added another layer of lash glue and stuck another layer of tissue paper on top, and I fit the tissue paper to where the glue was. And make sure you apply another coat of lash glue on top of a dry tissue paper so that it gives you that nasty skin texture at the end. And then my camera kind of cut off, so what I did was I applied foundation on top of it in the meantime, and I created a hole where I wanted the wound to be. So then to make this wound look very realistic, I just added some black shadow in the depths of it, because the blood would be the darkest inside. And then I applied some red on top of that black to give that dark maroon blood color. And I started spreading out that red to the rest of the wound so it looks like messy. Then I took some fake vampire blood and I concentrated this into the center where the black part would be, but I also smeared it around the wound. And I also took it and I dripped it on my face so that you would get that messier, realistic vibe. And I also added some more black on top of that so that it could set the blood. And this is the completed half wounded, half skeleton look. If you guys have any more requests, please leave it down below. And thank you so much for watching. Please thumbs it up and leave a comment if you enjoyed. Thank you.